And the next guy that I wanted to go to, who I'm gonna wind up being pretty high on, and I think a lot of people will too, is Amarius Mims,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
guy. So
yeah.
Mims, unfortunately didn't get to do the drill work. Had a really good 40 though, and the broad jump. I know the vertical there was some um, maybe some
It
error.
was it was weird. They had him down as a 25.5 inch vert. And listen, we love Andrew Coker from TCU. He's one of our guys too, trains together. But Andrew Coker jumped a 25.5, and we knew he's going to jump a 25.5. He was probably our worst jumper in our class. And so when they put down that Mims had a 25.5, it was eye-opening, and it was a mistake. And I said, Mims, what happened on your vert? He goes, nothing. He goes, there was 3 or 4 rings left when I jumped. And so he was like, there's no way it could have been 25. So from the people that were around and waiting, it sounded like it was a mismeasure, but he'll probably do it again at his pro day. But ran really well, very good broad jump. And I mean, if you know anything about this testing stuff, if you're jumping over a 9 foot broad jump, you're not jumping a 25-inch vert.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm
You
looking
know,
at his mock draftable right now, and you know how the spider chart, everything is just to the edges because he's in the 85 or better
uh,
percentile. And then the vertical's at 19 percentile. It just doesn't make any sense.
yeah, I
Uh,
think at our mock combine we had him like at 32 and a half.
that would
Uh
make sense. Yeah.
yeah. And I and that was us being very, very stingy in terms of how we measured and things like that, and just the technique. And that's also without a deload. Like, so here's the thing with these numbers, and you've been around me. You were with me the entire week in Indy. I think I told you what everybody was going to do in terms of
Yeah.
the testing
Good.
within it. So,
Hmm.
like, nothing ever really becomes a surprise unless there's an injury on the field. Like Don Pooney had a hamstring, so his 40 time he literally jogged a 5.3.
Yeah.
There's really never any surprises in that regard from the guys we work with. But it'll be interesting. But like, yeah, I think to your point, Mims is going to be one. It's going to be very intriguing for a lot of teams. So it's fun, man, because that kid got so much better just in the 9 weeks he was with me, from his last game in Georgia to last week. So I'm excited about him.
Yeah, and the reason why I like him so much is because I don't see a lot of bad habits, even though he's inexperienced. It's just there's
He's
not a lot of bad habits, especially in pass pro. It's just very natural.
Yep. And the thing about him, you bring up a great point about no really bad habits.
Yeah.
Got really no habits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Just
like,
kind of a blank canvas.
yeah, I was talking to Coach Stoutland about this. He's like, he goes, difficult evaluation because you don't see a whole lot of negative on a tape, but you don't see a whole lot of what to correct. It's literally raw. It's
Yeah.
literally it's raw film. You're evaluating the traits, you're evaluating, some of the uncoachables, some of the things you're just like, okay, that's him being a dude.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
and really,
Right.
yeah, and really our main thing that we were trying to get across is just sets, landmarks, um, eyes, hand placement, um, what to do next once you get a counter, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I really took a fundamental approach with him, and that's been the message. It's just like, hey, fundamentals, fundamentals. Because when you get a guy that big, that long, that powerful, and the message is fundamentals, that's all they know. You could do a lot with that.
Mm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, a guy who looks different than everybody else, moves a little differently. Um,
Even in our class, even in our class with Patrick Paul and Olu, who are both like physical freaks, man. Those are two guys who are long, who look good, who test it well, and Mims just looks different.